Hello, everybody. I have been working hard on Unresolved Blues, and I'm going to give you a little look at what's been going on today. You may have seen this little picture already today. This is the laundry room where I've got my Vox amplifier and an SM57 as an isolation booth for recording dulcimer parts for the album, because that's typically what industry folks do to get the sound to stay in a nice concealed close area, and so you don't lose the sound in a big open room like I've been using. So a laundry room serves as a very nice isolation booth, and the clothes heaped on the top of the dryer serve as kind of a buffer. Since I don't have this place properly situated for recording, that should be all carpet, and the walls basically should be covered in baffles, buffering material, to deaden the sound so that you don't have any additional sound artifacts bouncing around when you're trying to record stuff. Which incidentally is why I have got this really interesting looking device surrounding the microphone. This is a kind of a pseudo isolation booth. And what that does is, when you sing into the microphone, your voice is coming through this pop filter, and instead of being lost out into the ether, it actually bounces up against this foam here, which forms sort of a semi-U around the microphone, and it contains the signal of your voice and keeps it centralized to the microphone so that you get a better signal in the microphone. Now, this is kind of a cheap version. I forget, this is like 50 bucks or something. A true version of this, which is a knockoff, would allow some of the sound to actually go through this a little bit. What happens is, with this hard plastic backing that's on here, the sound actually reflects very violently back this way. And so luckily I do have a big wide open space, and I don't have too much of an issue with the signal flow as it goes with the microphone. But this is sort of the stuff that you do when you are working from home and have not yet built up the budget to completely soundproof your studio. Now, this is something that is not a huge secret. Everybody does it, but I'm getting ready to show you how comping works. So I've got all the tracks laid down for Unresolved Blues, which is the title track from the album. I've decided to go with a country blues, and it's really fun. That's going to be the only song on the album that sounds this way. And what I've done here is I have recorded 5 takes of my lead vocals. So I've got 5 different tracks there. And they're all muted right now, so they're all grayed out. And how comping works is, you take a number of takes, you record a number of takes, and either you can do them all the same way, or you can try different phrasing, and then you go back and you listen to each take phrase by phrase, and you determine which one sounds the best, and then you edit that into a master track. So you're basically taking the best of 5 performances and putting them together to create one performance. Now, many people might see that as absolutely cheating, but it's been done since the very earliest days of multi-track recording, and everybody from Coldplay to Julio Iglesias to even Frank Sinatra all did multiple takes, and then the engineers got together and made a Franken track. Basically, they stitched together the best of those and created one track. It's kind of like making a movie, if you think about it. You know, they do a number of takes, they take the best takes in editing and put them together to make the movie. So it truly is a craft, recording, where sometimes you record live and you do everything straight and you don't take any takes beside the first one. Other times you take multiple takes and do what you can to coax the best performances possible out of what you're doing. So I'm going to show you how I auditioned these tracks and how I put them together. I'll unmute the first track here and then listen to what we've got.
Don't leave me hanging, baby. What are you trying to do? Don't leave me hanging, baby. What are you trying to do?
All right, so that's the first take. Actually, I rearranged these a little bit. What tends to happen with takes is you start off kind of cautious and pure voice, and then the more you do, obviously your voice gets a little freaked, and then also you start taking more chances. If you feel like you've gotten something good on tape, then you take some more chances and do some different things. I often find that the last couple of takes typically have the most real and honest performances, while the first couple tend to be real cautious and they lack. I never use a first take for just about anything unless I've been working on it for a very long time. Here's the second take.
Don't leave me hanging, baby. What are you trying to do? Don't leave me hanging, baby. What are you trying to do?
You know, and to my ears, that second take sounds a little bit better. Get on down here to the third take.
Don't leave me hanging, baby. What are you trying to do? Don't leave me hanging, baby. What are you trying to do?
That's my favorite one so far. And what am I listening for? I'm listening for pitch, I'm listening for inflection, I'm listening for phrasing, I'm listening for emotion, all of these types of things. I'm looking for a lot of things combined, and I've got this song divided up into a whole bunch of little tracks here, and I'm literally going phrase by phrase to pick out the best parts. I just wrote this song like a couple days ago, so I haven't lived in it yet. Songs I've been with for a very long time, I'll get done in 1 or 2 takes, but songs like this, I'm still trying to feel my way around it, and the phraseology in this one was a little different. Here's take number 4.
Don't leave me hanging, baby. What are you trying to do? Don't leave me hanging, baby. What are you trying to do?
And that's not a bad take at all right there. I'm still leaning towards the third take. And it's right there in the middle of 5 takes. Like I said, you start off cautious, you end up taking chances. Somewhere in the middle you find a nice middle ground, and that tends to be where the stuff I use ends up. Let's listen to the last take here. Actually, let me back up a little bit. Here we go.
Don't leave me hanging, baby. What are you trying to do? Don't leave me hanging, baby. What are you trying to do?
That's a real good one there, and I'm going to have a hard time selecting between takes 3 and 5 on that phrase. What's important to think about, though, is track 3 all the way through the tune is probably going to have that spirit as well as track 5. So if I take something from track 5 to lead off the tune, or take 5 rather, and then marry it with something from track 3, the energy is going to be different and it'll be noticeable. So I have to listen to each one and just see if the energy level goes up, down, stays the same, how the phrasing is, and do the stitching. So it's a lot of work comping, and I didn't do a whole bunch of it on this record so far, but with this piece in particular, because it's a different style for me and it's a brand new tune, there is a lot of comping going on. But I have comped on every single song so far recorded. And that right there is part of the magic here when you're working in the studio, and I'll continue to do these throughout all of the albums being recorded here, and through the next several months there'll be a lot of things coming through, and hopefully this will give you an idea of how to go about recording your own projects. I do teach a workshop on that type of stuff, and so if you guys have any questions, and if you have anything out there that you'd like to work on, let me know, because you know this is something I've been doing since I was, I don't know, 18 years old, and I love it, love it, love it. And it just takes time and patience and a real need, or a real passion for getting into the technical side of things, which is not my biggest thrill, but it is a lot of fun. Anyway, I hope you're enjoying this trip through the behind the scenes of Unresolved Blues, and I expect to probably have this one up on the Patreon site later on today. Thanks for watching.